Last time we finished the base coat in black of this BF 109G6 in 1:48 scale over a layer of black basing. It turned out okay, a little bit too dark as I intended to, but something I can work with. So in this episode we're going to finish the painting stage, adding some decals, and the main theme of this episode will be the self-made masks for painting almost all the markings with a new tool. So dear modelers, welcome to the hobby on air and ground in scale, and let's start with painting some additional items to complete the painting stage. The wheel rims give a nice touch of color to this aircraft. They were painted in red, so it is an easy and fast job to do, and the black based layer of the rim is still visible. So is the landing gear and the wheels, for which I used the dedicated color from Tamiya. Next up, the propeller, which is painted in RLM70 black green. After applying this as a base coat, I mixed some deck tan to the RLM70 and lightened up the tips of the spinner to create some contrast, finishing it by painting the white tips. More weathering will follow. Now to the self-made masks. As I got several recommendations to buy a plotter, more explicit the Silhouette Cameo 4 to make my own stencils, I had to try it. At this point, a big thank you to Travis Thompson who made the initial recommendation. And check out the great video on Flying S Models channel about the cutter, you have to get one. Painted on markings are much nicer than decals. And if your wife is into crafting stuff, she will be delighted about the great tools you buy. So check out the link to the product in the description below. So I ended up with some stencils for the Balkenkreuze and the number on the fuselage. I used a transparent masking foil from Harder and Steenbeck, which appeared at the first moment pretty thin, but the adhesion is great. To spray the insignias, I used Insignia White from Mr. Paint. It doesn't take much time to create these stencils, and you can paint it already in a weathered style or over a weathered layer, which gives you much more freedom of creativity than decals. What do you think about the result? I'm sure I'm gonna use it again on my next projects. I even tried to paint the number with stencils. I mean, the white border is really thin and the cutting plotter could cut the exact sizes. It is just pretty difficult to apply the mask correctly to leave the border visible. But I would absolutely do it again. The green I used is a mix of Tamiya greens and blues. And again, I'm pretty happy with the result, much better than what I could have achieved with the decal. One could argue about the difficulty about placing the masks on the spinner hub, but I'm happy with the result. The masking material is pretty thin and flexible. But even with self-made masks, I had some decals left to apply. In my search for the perfect decal setting and softening solution, I haven't found a good product for me. After applying a gloss coat with AK's Intermediate Gauzy, I used the solutions from Amomig, but at one point the softening solution attacked the paint. I didn't capture it on video, so for the rest I used the Micro Set and Micro Sol products. Now let's dive more into weathering this black aircraft. As I have two enamel panel line washes dedicated for black aircrafts, they're pretty different in colors. The white one would be really nice to pop out every single rivet and panel line, but the contrast would be too much, so I applied the stone grey wash from Amomig. Finally, some more contrast over this black aircraft. It is gonna be pretty difficult to find the correct hues for oil weathering, for example. The application is pretty easy. Just paint over the rivets and panel lines, leave it to dry several minutes and drop the excess away with a cotton bud. While rubbing away the excess of the panel line wash, it left some nice semi-matte patina over the surface, which you can play with and leave it for weathering on the surfaces. But let's finish this in the next episode, so subscribe and don't forget that the next giveaway will be at 2000 subscribers. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy your time at your workbench.